Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started while our virtual attendees start to come back into the room. Once again, welcome back. I'm Jim Powers, your moderator, and we welcome you back to the Ford Center for the 2022 NCAA Division II Elite Eight. It's great to see everybody in person. We're doing things a little differently this year. As you may have seen, we had our first four coaches that are playing in the evening session join us first, and now the four coaches that are going to be participating in the day session tomorrow are going to be joining us as well. Our coaches are Jim Crutchfield from Nova Southeastern, Ryan Thompson from Black Hill State, Jay Lawson from Bentley, and Ben McCollum from Northwest Missouri State. Once again, same as we did in our last press conference, we'll take questions from the folks here in the Ford Center first, and then we'll take it over to our folks virtually. And our folks that are joining us virtually, we do have the chat box now enabled, so you'll be able to type in your questions via the chat box once we get through our questions here inside Ford Center. But first, we're going to open it up for opening statements from our coaches, and we'll start with Coach Crutchfield.
Thank you. Like everybody, we're just excited to be here, especially in Evansville. It's such a great venue here. The hospitality of the people here in Evansville is incredible, and the NCAA people are all incredible. And if you ever have a site, I think you're looking at for a permanent site for Division II, I think this is a good place to have it. Hard place to get to. We took, I think, 2 flights with a couple layovers, a bus ride. Had a boat trip and horseback riding to get in here. It was tough, but once you're here, this is an incredible place to be. Our players are excited. Nova Southeastern comes out of Davie, Florida, just outside of Fort Lauderdale, out of the Sunshine State Conference and out of the South region. We escaped the last 2 rounds with buzzer beaters, so kind of like we're with house money right now, but we're excited to be here.
Coach Thompson.
Yeah, so, just echoing what Coach Crutchfield said, great facilities here and great hospitality. And just so excited for our players to be competing on this stage. This is our first NCAA tournament. We've been Division II for about 10 years. Black Hill State out of Spearfish, South Dakota, compete in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. But we're playing really good ball right now, and excited to see how we size up against some of the best teams in the country, and excited to see how we compete.
Coach Lawson.
We are a school located right outside of Boston from the Northeast 10 Conference in the East region. It's the first time we've been to Evansville for this. We participated when it was in Springfield, which is also a neat kind of place associated with the Hall of Fame. And like the other schools, you have to go through your region and oftentimes your own conference all over again to make it this far. So we're fortunate, certainly very excited. We have an older group that's had a goal of this all along, so we're ready to go.
Coach McCollum.
Yeah, we've been to Evansville before, fortunately, and every year it's a class deal. It makes you feel big time at this level. Playing at the Ford Center and the people that put this on and how they make our kids feel is a really special deal. And again, I think we're excited to get out of our region. Like he said, we played conference opponent second round. We played for the 8th time in 2 seasons. Fortunately, got past them, and then played the host school Augustana at the Pentagon, which is another Division II venue that has hosted national championships. So we're ready to compete and see what happens.
Thank you, coaches. We're going to open it up for questions from our folks here in Ford Center first. For our virtual media members, you can go ahead and go to the Q&A button and type in any questions there. We'll get to those in a moment. So let's open it up for questions here inside Ford Center. Go ahead.
I think this is new to the university. It's, first of all, Nova Southeastern is a big, beautiful, new type university. There's not a lot of ivy on the walls there, but there's a lot of big, new, beautiful buildings. And a lot of people say that sports are the front porch of university. Not yet, but maybe getting there right now. So I think this is kind of a new deal for Nova Southeastern University in the sport of basketball. They've been there in other sports, but basketball being a little higher profile, I think that this is some things will happen at the university that they're not even aware of yet.
Next question from our media here inside the Ford Center. I'll go ahead and ask one for the coaches. We'll start here with Coach Crutchfield. How awesome is it to finally be back to some sense of normalcy? After the last couple of years, it's just been no fans. Some teams played, some teams weren't able to. But go down the line and just talk about just how great it is this year that we're finally getting back to that sense of normalcy with your teams and with the Elite Eight.
And I do feel like we're back to normalcy now. After last year, we were one of the schools that did not participate at all. And 2 years ago, we were one of the schools that were heading for regional play and were pulled off the bus when the tournament was canceled. So it's great to be back to normal, but also the NCAA gave kids a year back, and we've got a couple young men on our team, 2 seniors, and Eddie Puisis and Nick Smith, who would have been long gone if that wouldn't have happened, but they wanted the chance to be here, and they're here right now. So I'm really glad of that. But the last 2 years has made for a long season this year. We've been practicing now for 2 years, but you're right. I do feel for the first time in years that we're getting back to where we were before COVID hit.
Yeah, I would just echo that. I mean, basketball's meant to be played with a lot of fans and energy in the gym, and it was so nice to have that this year. We're fortunate enough to be in a place where we get tremendous support from our community and those on campus, and playing in front of 3,000 people in a packed gym that sure made our conference tournament even more special. So just thankful to that we're in this position now where we're a little bit back to normal. And the best part of it, I think, is the energy and seeing people in the stands.
I would say this has been really a challenge for every program in the country the last 2 years. And everyone has their own story. And ours is pretty tough. We did not play a single game last year. We practiced and lifted. Everything we did, we had a mask on the entire year. And that was hard. Even this year, we tested every single Monday to see if anybody was positive, and lived that 24-hour period till Tuesday to see if we were going to have our players on the games at midweek and on Saturday. So the positive of it is, like Jim, we have an older group because they're in grad school and they came back for their 5th year. And their goal all along was to get to another season and try to be as good as they could be. So to see the evolution of the whole thing, it's hard to describe in words to those who weren't with us, but it's made this run this season even that much more special.
Very similar to what they said. It's been great to be somewhat back to normal. We had a couple pauses throughout the season, so we were playing 3 games in a week, and I don't know that we practiced, legitimate practice for probably a month and a half, but we were fortunate enough last season and this season to be able to play and get through it. So obviously it could always be worse and you don't have a season, but we were fortunate enough to have that, but to not have to come over here at 6:30 a.m. every morning and test, and then test throughout the regional and test throughout this entire season has been fantastic, and our kids have really enjoyed I guess a normal season with fans. It was a little bit difficult to get used to fans to start, but we're used to them now.
Thank you, coaches. We have a question on our virtual media from Nathan from All Sports All Plays Network. He's wondering how you guys prepare for a game like this on a short turnaround, and we'll start with you, Coach Mack.
I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but that's short turnaround from the regional. Yeah, that's actually quite a long turnaround, to be quite honest. I think at this point, if you're changing a lot of things, I think you're going to have a lot of issues. What I found is the teams that do what they do and just try to get better and better and better at what they do generally have the most success. So it's not really rocket science. But it's difficult. You compete, play hard, and you do the little things and hopefully give yourself a chance to win. So yeah, the extra time has helped us get better on ourselves, and give coaches a break from scouting. You win the regional and 5 minutes afterwards you're like, gosh, I gotta keep scouting. This is wearing me down. So yeah, it's been good, and we've had plenty of time to get ready.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'll copy you now.
Just say the exact same thing.
I think the intense part of preparation and the short, quick stuff is during the region. I think that's the hardest thing when you play back-to-back games in the quarter, semifinal. And actually, I think the difficult part coming off of regional play to this, or from your league playoffs to the regional play, is letting go if you've had success. Players and coaches want to breathe at some point of their lives and enjoy things that are achieved. And you really can't do that till the end when you're still playing. So we feel that there's been plenty of time to get ready for this. And I'm also a big believer, we are who we are. We're going to play the way we play, and we wouldn't want our players to do anything different.
Yeah, kind of a long period here between the regional and the Elite Eight, and for us, getting prepared for Nova Southeastern, who plays a unique style, it's a good thing for us, where we're able to really figure out how they play and do our best to prepare for that. So our assistant coaches do an excellent job preparing. I don't know that they really got a break from after the regional to this week, but I think our guys, it was nice to be able to rest them a little bit and hopefully get them healthy. And I think what Coach Lawson said has a lot of truth. Your mentality can't change after you face a little success, and keeping our guys hungry, I think is a big piece of the puzzle.
With a little bit of extra time, I just went ahead and changed everything we did. We're packing a 2-3 zone, and we'll take the shot clock down to the last 5 seconds every possession. So Ryan, I'm sorry about that preparation. Okay, I just want to say something different than everybody else.
Do we have any questions from our Ford Center media? Go ahead.
I think because of the time off, it has made this a special trip. Because we had guys on this team that were getting ready to get on the bus 2 years ago and practiced all year, just like Bentley did. It's you almost have to experience it, practicing the entire year and masking up the struggles you go through. And made for a long season, but this is kind of the reward of that. So it makes this a little bit special.
You have one? Go ahead.
Different.
I don't know how much different it is. We try to prepare the best we can for every game, and I think we did the last time too. But you might be right. There might have been first time jitters with some guys, but that can always happen on a big stage like this. It can always happen, and until we get on the courts, it's almost hard to tell what the different mindset of players are, though.
All right, we have a question virtually for Coach Lawson. Coach, what did you learn about your team in the East Regional, playing in an overtime game, and then coming from behind in the final?
At the end of the regulation of the overtime game, we had, I don't know if I've ever seen it. We were getting pressed and we fouled them twice while they were trying to steal it from us. And we fouled an 88% shooter both times. So that sent it into overtime. The final game coming from behind, I feel like we spent more time this season coming from behind at halftime than any other year I've coached. And I think that's a positive thing. If you ask me, would you rather be a first half team or a second half team? I would say all four of us would probably say we'd rather be a second half team if you had to pick one. So that's a good resilient skill to have. We certainly practice it a lot this year.
Okay, last call for questions here. All right, one more question from our virtual. This is from Andres Lopez for Coach Crutchfield. You've been at this stage in the past. You mentioned it a lot. This feels like new. 3 years later, a pandemic, a new group of guys. Later in your back. What is new about the competition and what remains the same from your last tournament run?
Yeah, the competition is always good. But I think one thing is kind of unusual. I don't think there's any team here that wasn't in the top 20 in the country. Usually there's a few that, there's 315 teams in the country. This year is all top teams, it seems like to me. As I look through the field, it seems to be a really strong, balanced field where I think anybody can win games. That seems to be maybe a little different in the past. Outside of that, it seems pretty much the same.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, coaches. We appreciate you taking some time. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow in your games starting at 12 noon. For members of the media, both virtually and here, these interviews will be uploaded onto YouTube. I would say anytime between now and 4 o'clock. So you'll be able to go back and watch and take whatever you need. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to a great day of basketball tomorrow here at the Ford Center. Thank you.